Hi, everybody. I'm here just to say a few words about the new in-ear monitoring system I've settled on. As you know, I tested one out over the weekend. Had a little bit of crackle, nothing I couldn't live with, but I thought I would test another one out that I had almost done in the first place. And I'm glad I did because it has lived up to its billing. This one is called the Phoenix PTM10. So that's the receiving unit right there. This is the battery or body pack right there. Opens up, has the batteries in right there, power on top. Press the button and it comes alive, shows you the channel and the frequency that you're on. Voila, isn't that wonderful? All right, there's some other advanced features to it. For example, it's got a limiter and an equalizer built onto it. We don't necessarily have to use those because of the fact that our board on each one of the output channels for the monitor system has a compressor, a limiter, and an EQ on it. The limiter and compressor are designed for the purpose of protecting your hearing from spikes that you might not expect to come through. So it's a safety device. And if you need to set it on the unit, we can set it there too, but otherwise I think we'll probably just be fine getting by with using what's on the board. All right, so one of the things that I want to give you here is a little brief lecture on how to use these things. They come with a little cheap headset, nothing to write home about, believe me. I don't know that how well they'll stay in your ears. The way you're supposed to wear them is you put the thing in your ear first and wrap it over, and put it in, whichever works for you. And that gives less tension on the wiring so that it doesn't pull out as easily. I'm not going to rely on that. I'm going to take this and actually make my own custom fit earpiece for it, and because that'll stay in my ear a lot better, and I'm going to try that out and see how that works. I can get by actually using a headset, and so can Gene. For example, Gene and Mike, when they play drums, they could just use a headset if they want to have it on a wireless device. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is just some recommendations, and this first one, well, this is the main one really. Let me ask you this: you're in a crowded room somewhere and you get a phone call. What do? You answer the phone, you put it to your ear, but the room is noisy, so what do? Well, you've turned your phone up as loud as your phone will go, so the only other option you have left is to cover your ear like this, so that you can actually hear what's being said. Now, if you had the option to turn your phone up, you probably would, but it's already at maximum. This is a very meaningful example that was given by an audiologist who was being interviewed by Shure, the Shure company. A friend of mine put me onto this. He said that when he and his church went to in-ear monitors, they bought Shure equipment, and a representative from the company came down and gave them instructions on how to use them, and particularly this warning. And this audiologist that they hired, he's treated over 37,000 musicians and singers over the course of his career at the time that was recorded. One of the things that he was very adamant about is that you need to wear both earpieces, and that's not it's not a flippant thing that he's saying there. The reason that you wear both earpieces is exactly the issue that you run into with the cell phone. He says that what happens is when people can't hear themselves the way they want to hear themselves in one earpiece, they will just say crank it up, crank it up, crank it up until they get to a volume that they like. And this leads to having this earpiece louder than you would normally run it. If you were to take the other earpiece and put it in, you would hear that it's probably way too loud for you at that point. But because people do this, and they do it long term, they actually damage their hearing using only one earpiece. Now, I know you see some professionals who you think are doing that. Well, they may be, and they're not supposed to be. They may take it out, maybe to hear the crowd sing along with them, for example. Maybe they have a plug in the other ear so that it's giving them that hand over the ear kind of effect that you have on the cell phone. Or maybe they've already got hearing damage so bad it doesn't matter. But he was very clear that you should not be using just one earpiece. You should use both of them. So that's the major instruction that I have on this. We'll set these up, and it's going to be a couple of Sundays before we actually get into really using them. Our stage is not going to be finished until Thursday, a week from tomorrow. And at that point, then we'll be back fully on the stage. So I don't even expect to have the stage accessible to us this week for service. So we'll just, again, do what we did this past week and have sort of an acoustic set. So plan to bring the same equipment that you did last time. All right, I'm sure you'll have some more questions, and I'll have hopefully some more answers for you. But that's what I've learned. I've got all this in a document, including the link to the audiologist, and I will be sending that out to you in the near future. God bless you. We'll see you on Sunday.